You have to act it out in order to become it. You can change the timeline. Change the timeline. So input leads to mindset, leads to choices, leads to action, leads to reality. I honestly wasn't even planning on recording or like setting up to record. Also ignore the fire alarm in the background. I tried to fix it. It won't listen. Nonetheless, we ball. So I'm so grateful for Earth, nature, people, and the art that they create. When I think of great art, I think of Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think of, will somebody put me in her hair? Will somebody wear me to the fair? Those kinds of things. I think of, what's his name? Yoon something something. I'll have to put his work on the screen. I think of his work. I think of Erykah Badu. I think of all these people, like, love them or hate them, agree with them spiritually or not. They are authentically creating something outside of the norm that people would normally accept. They are creating something. They're creating something authentic from themselves. Okay? And I don't even know what I want to talk about here, but maybe it's authenticity, and the fact that authenticity is one of the best values that you can have in this fake AI generated Instagram micro trend world. Authenticity is so refreshing, and authenticity is one of my deepest values, because the lack of it is so icky. It's so disgusting. It's so, when it's like when people smile at your face and you don't even finish walking past them and that smile already drops, and it's like, dang, couldn't have held the smile at least like 1 second more to not ruin my day. But anyways, I digress. I feel like my life is just digressing from one thing to the other. It's the neurospiciness. But whatever. As I was saying, authenticity will save us. You know, authenticity in your art. Now, the price to pay for authenticity, now this is not my own quote, I read it somewhere. The price to pay for authenticity is loneliness at first. I think that's how the quote goes. Loneliness is the price you pay for authenticity. Until your people find you, that is. Maybe I did make this quote up. But yeah, at first, they're not gonna be effing with you. You know, if you get lucky, they might F with you, you know. But it's gonna have to be months and months and years of doing the same thing that you know is true to you and true to your values and true to the people that you want around you. Because if you don't show up authentically, the version of you that shows up will attract that version's friends. But if you show up authentically, you will attract authentic people that are just like you to you. So instead of showing up like a party girl when you know you a banana bread stay at home girly, show up like the banana girl. Show up like the grandma that you are, and you will attract grandma friends. Now, if you show up as a party girl and only the party girl, I'm not saying you can't be both. The duplicity of man, love it. You can be both. But if you only show up as one thing that you're not authentically, the people that are going to come to you are going to be for that type of personality, for that type of person. And you're going to end up hating your life because it's like, dang, like I can't relate to anybody in my life. Like, why? It's because you don't show up as yourself. So they're thinking, because everybody craves authenticity, every single person, they're thinking, okay, this party girl is my friend and we're gonna go party. Let me ask her to party like she love partying, you know. She just wanna party. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And then you're gonna be like, no girl, like why can't my friends tell me like to like come over and take a nap? I recently found out that was a possibility like yesterday. Literally yesterday. Maybe it was like 2 a.m. this morning, but I don't have those types of friendships. Like, I need to friends making max, however the kids are saying. I need to friends max more because I don't have any friends that I could just like pull up to their house and take a nap. I would love to pull up to their house and take a nap. Either, and anyways, I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah, like, and then you're gonna be wondering like, why are my friends not asking me to come over to take a nap? Instead, they're asking me to come over for brunch. And I don't want to do brunch. I don't want to do bottomless mimosas every Sunday. I don't want to go to this house party and have 5 White Claws every Saturday. Like, I don't want to do it. Yeah. Then don't. You have free will. You have free will. You can just choose not to. And that brings me to one of the most major things that I've realized lately in my brief pauses from pacifying my mind and sedating my thoughts with doom scrolling is that you can change the timeline. Change the timeline. The timeline that you are currently subscribed to, you don't have to be subscribed to it, baby. Baby girl. You can change the timeline. Change the timeline right now. What you did 5 seconds ago, stop it. Change it. Do something else. I'm getting ready to go buy groceries right now. And I was like, dang. Let me speak to the camera a little bit. Authenticity will save us all. You can change the timeline. Stop doing what you were doing before if it does not serve you. And do what serves you now. Do what will move you towards becoming that type of person. And it's not even what will move you. Become that type of person and start acting like them now. Because you only become that kind of person by being that kind of person. You only become somebody who goes to the gym by being somebody who goes to the gym. You only become an artist by being an artist. You have to act it out in order to become it. Your actions are who you are. Your actions become your life. Your choices, and therefore your actions, because actions follow choices, which then follow mindsets, which then follows input. So input leads to mindset, leads to choices, leads to action, leads to reality. Act different to have and be different. Be the person that you want to be right now. And I'll let y'all in on a little secret. Not really a secret, but just a little a big aspiration of mine. I am being who I want to be right now. I am practicing being that person so I can truly be that person right now. I am practicing being a creative who talks to other creatives and has an audience of creatives. That's what I'm practicing right now. I am practicing financial freedom from creativity right now. I am. Now, will I see the result in the next 2-3 business days? No. But if you dig up the seed that you just planted every 3-4 days, you're never going to get that plant to grow. Give it some time underground, babe. Give it some time underground to suck up the nutrients from the soil, to suck up the water. Build its roots, its deep, deep roots, so when it finally grows, it is sustainable through a hurricane. Not because it's a flimsy flower that bloomed too early, but because it's an invasive species like a bamboo with a deep, deep roots that you cannot cut. Be like bamboo creatively. Build your roots. It's rare that people are overnight growths or overnight successes. They've been preparing for this for years. Bringing it back to Hudson and Connor. They've been doing their craft for years. They've been practicing for years. They've been learning the different skills for years. They've been doing this for years. And so when the opportunity finally comes, they are able to seem like an overnight success because they've been preparing for this for their whole lives. Not technically their whole lives, but they've been preparing for this for a long time. And if they had been fake and not showing up authentically in their lives and practicing something that speaks to their heart and that is their passion, once the opportunity comes, they wouldn't have been prepared for it because they weren't practicing being their authentic selves. If they were, instead of acting, taking classes, grinding, in the creative space, but then also being realistic and getting okay, I hate to say real jobs, you know, it's the capitalist mindset, but like getting jobs that will put food on the table, if they weren't doing all that and showing up like how they want to show up, once the opportunity for that show came, they wouldn't have been the right people for it. They wouldn't have had the years of grit to be able to survive hard things. They wouldn't have had the years of practice of acting to be able to actually do the job well. They wouldn't have been prepared for it. So be authentic and practice your craft so that when that opportunity comes, you can take it, not only take it, but sustain it. Take it and sustain it. Because if they just got lucky, those two boys I'm talking about, if they just got lucky, that would be it. That the show would just be it for them. They wouldn't be out here modeling for other things. They wouldn't be out here acting for other things. If they weren't authentic, they would not be acting for other things. They would not have other opportunities. So the way that you take and sustain luck, quote unquote luck, is by being authentic and practicing your craft. Practice your craft. Practice your craft. And keep practicing. Because luck is when, what is it? Luck is when opportunity meets skill. I think that's the quote. And you not gonna have the skill if you don't practice it, baby. Because you have to practice being a young creative in a big city with a mysterious source of income. Because you have to practice being the second coming, for a lack of better words, Lord forgive me, of Anthony Bourdain. You have to practice being the next Erykah Badu. You have to practice being the next Lauryn Hill. You have to practice being the next Solange. You have to practice being the next Dr. Miles Monroe. You have to practice being the next non-woman beater Picasso. You have to practice being the next big thing before you can actually be the next big thing. Because once opportunity comes to you, you're not going to be able to handle 5,000 people demanding your attention in a day. Imagine 50,000 comments. Imagine 2 million followers. 2 million eyes on every single thing that you post. You think if they weren't servers or had experience in the I'm back to talking about Hudson and Connor. You think if they didn't have experience in the service industry, they would be able to handle certain types of people in their new glitzy and glamorous lifestyles? I don't think so. There's a certain grit that comes with, yeah, you ordered this and I told you it wasn't our best thing on the menu, yet it sucks and you're still complaining, but I told you it wasn't good. You know, there's a certain grit that comes with that. There's a certain grit that comes with like, oh, I hate it here, but I'm going to show up anyways. I hate it here, but hey, I have no choice. And so I'm going to continue. And doing that for years and years and that showing yourself that, yeah, I can actually do the things that I hate to be able to stomach, you know, my possible future dream. Like I can actually do that. There's a certain type of confidence that builds that if you were a Nepo baby with everything handed to you, you wouldn't have. There's a certain type of mindset and patience that you have once you're in the service industry or you've had experience with, you know, being in the service industry, that it shows. It really does. You know? But yeah, be authentic, show up as yourself, but also practice being your dream self, because the only way that you become that person is to be that person. Be authentic, practice your craft. Be your dream self.